Wow, there's another chapter? I thought we were right at the end. So why is there a tornado of souls going on?
なんだこれは。
どうかされましたか?
There's a million ghosts flying through the building. What the fuck do you think is the problem? Is there a problem, sir? Do you not see any of this, dude?
Soか, わかった. 準備が整いました。どうされますか?
捕まえろ。
うじゃうじゃだよな。
あ
あ。何が起こったのかな。なんだろうね。
ウェッジは巻き込まれてねえだろうな。
無事だといいけど。
来たぞ。
あ
Aw, hell yeah. Time for the highway scene. Oh, they almost kiss. You got saddled with the junker because you're not the main character. Sorry. Sorry, Barrett. Yeah, everyone's favorite part. Slash, slash, slash. Slash, slash, slash. Okay, okay, I see how that is. It only comes out the left side. Get up here, nerd. Oh, damn. Need to get up alongside it and just slash the crap out of it. Not really giving me much of a chance to. I feel like while these scenes are more cinematic and look cooler, your control over them has lowered from what it used to be. Because it's very hard to actually catch up to stuff. Barrett, shoot it. Alright, we got him. Down goes the truck.
しぶとい野郎だ。
あれ嘘でしょ
Well, that's one way to break through a barricade.
威嚇打撃を開始する。来るぞ。デカブツは俺に任せな。叩き落としてやる。
Alright, take it down, Barretto. Oh, I see.
ちょっと
It
急いで
aims on the street. Oh, that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Oh, hey.
さすがに追ってこ
By
ら
the
れ
way, Cloud is riding the Hardy Daytona. Meanwhile, Tifa, Barrett, and Red and Eris are all riding the Shinra Hauler SA-37.
テキパキ行こう
Just thought I should point that out. Oh, hey, one of those guys.
頼りにしてる
Oh, that did way less damage than I was
気をつけて
hoping.
ね
Trying to get closer.
期待してるぜ。
I'll save my spinning slash,
ここからだ
maybe.
よ
逃がさねえぞ。
Get over here. Damn it. Come back.
思いっきりやっちまえ。
Back here, Metal Sonic.
あ よろしくね
ガード、ガードだ。
Bow, bow, bow.
やるじゃねえか。
攻めてこう
Cloud is ambidextrous. Can swing just fine with either.
どんなもんや。
Uh-oh.
まだだ
Shoot the detonators.
クソまた来やがった上は俺がやる援護頼んだぞ
Oh no. These are tough guys. Tough Shinra soldier mans. Why don't the explosions hurt them too? Big spinning slashes. Barrett, you said you would take care of that helicopter, and it still isn't taken care of. Come on, bud. Yay! He did it. Maybe. Never mind. Oh! Destiny ghosts, I think, are interfering a little much. Just a little bit.
愛されてるのは
リーダーが守っているのは我々ではない。この世界の運命だ。
何か来る
Oh! That's... I forgot about that, yeah.
罪が重い。
The motor ball. I'm not going to be able to assess that like I want to. Get those wheels. I'm really feeling it now. There's the stagger. Okay, ow, that hurt. So I feel like I have way more control in this particular fight for where I'm going and how fast I am compared to the enemy. So it feels a fair bit better. Come on, get up there. Big staggers, the big hits. Interesting. Landmines. This fight's definitely a lot more involved than it was before.
頑張っていいとこ見てねちょっと急ぎでここからだよ集中気合い入れてこよろしくね
That's his get off me attack. Oh, he refilled all of them and put some shields onto a couple of them.
逃がさないから
Really? Guess I must have barely touched that. Come on, get up next to it. Spinning slash. There go those tires.
頑張って行こう
Big ball.
叩きのめってやら
Got him.
よしあと一押しだいけんぞ頭を頼む了解した
Oh, that's sick. Oh, that's so cool. Whole road closed, take a different one. Never mind. End of the road. This cloud. Okay. Do a quick save just to be sure. Oh, and Sephiroth's face all over everything. Here, take your assess materia back, Cloud. Maybe you can go assess Sephiroth. He'll tell you the shit ain't real. It's all an illusion. Yeah, I'll buy an elixir for one. I get to hoard all these items and not use them. That way I have them for the next game. Hello, Faker Roth. How are you?
てめえさっき
違う。あなたは間違っている。
干渉で曇った目には何も見えまい。
あなたは間違っている。
命は星を巡る。だが星が消えればそれも終わりだ。
星は消えない。終わるのはお前だ。
来るぞ。運命の叫びだ。
Oh, they wanted to show Zack, huh?
やっと帰ってきたってのに随分な歓迎だな。
Zaku.
たくよ、自由の代償は高いぜ。夢を抱きしめろ。そしてどんな時でもソルジャーの誇りは手放すな。いらっしゃいませ。
Uh-huh.
早く来い、クラウド。
ここ分かれ道だから。運命の分かれ道。
どうして止める？
どうしてかな。向こうには何があるの？自由。でも自由は怖いよね。まるで空みたい。 星の悲鳴聞いたよね。かつてこの星に生きた人たちの声、星をめぐる命の叫び。
セフィロスのせいなんだろ
うん、あの人は悲鳴なんて気にしない。何でもないけどかけがえのない日々、喜びや幸せなんてきっと気にしない。大切な人なくしても泣いたり叫んだりしない。セフィロスが大事なのは星と自分。守るためなら何でもする。そんなの間違ってると思う。星の本当の敵はセフィロスだから止めたい。それをクラウドに、みんなに手伝ってほしかった。このみんなが一緒ならできる。でもこの壁は運命の壁。入ったら越えたらみんなも変わってしまう。だからごめんね、引き止めちゃった。
Free!
迷う必要はない。セフィロスを倒そう。悲鳴はもう聞きたくない。
When you cross the barrier of whispers, strange and terrible things may be waiting on the other side. Before making the leap, make sure that your party is well rested and well stocked with equipment and materia. The vending machine will have everything you need. It's tall.
クラウド、早く行こう。早く行かないと迷っちゃうな。クラウド、早く。
壁を越えちまうと戻ってこれねえの。自由の代償が高い。昔から相場は決まってるぜ。壁を越えちまうと戻ってこれねえ。
壁を越えることは我々の運命か否か。
Red, get your face out of my crotch.
向こうにもフィーラーはいるのだろうか。壁を越えることは我々の運命か否か。
ありがとう、クラウド。何があっても大丈夫。一緒ならね。ありがとう、何があっても大丈夫。
Well, let's go see what's behind the soul wall.
壁、薄いといいね。
運命の最後の
So this is entirely
そう
different.
はいかない。
Super duper different.
行くぞ。
こんなの何度も超えてきたぜ。壁が見えるか見えないか、それだけの違いよ。だろう。 父ちゃん行ってくるぜ。
For a second, I thought he was going to flip the city off. Okay, then. Seems nice here.
なんだよ、別に普通じゃねえか。
見て。
Oh no, it still seems nice here, as long as that doesn't get too close. What? Lifting the soul out of the buildings? We found the eye of the storm. Well, that's just Urizen. We are playing Devil May Cry. First we fought Virgil, now we fight Urizen. Good thing Cloud is good at jumping off of broken pieces of concrete. So, we're definitely going to need to scan this. Figure out what this thing is. Whee! The 4 kings. Oh wait, no, 3 kings.
いいね
Ow. We need to assess the situation. Whisper Rubrum, an entity from a future timeline that is manifested in the present day. It fights with a sword to protect the future that gave shape to it. Beriri fights barehanded to protect the future that gave shape to it. Oseo fights with guns to protect. Whisper Harbinger. An accretion of whispers, the so-called arbiters of fate. The creature appears when someone tries to alter destiny's course. They are connected to all the threads of time and space that shape the planet's fate. A sword, bare fists, and a gun, huh? So we're fighting ourselves, but future manifestations from an alternate timeline? Or something like that?
俺の見せ場だ
さあ行くよ
おう今度け
頑張るね
Ow.
行くよ邪魔だ
And there's no weaknesses at all. They're a little bit resistant to... well, they absorb certain elements as well. It's not fire the fire one, for example. But it does shit for damage, so get zapped, idiot.
頼られちゃうな
よしやっちゃおう
Correction. What is this? Oh no. Okay, it didn't do
お
much
いおい
damage.
マジかよ走れ
Oh, okay then.
今は逃げろ
Let's get out of here.
止まるな
This is definitely interesting.
まずいぞおいおお走れ走れ走れ走れ走れ
Oh, here it comes. They got full healed.
おう任しとけ狙うぜそっか
They don't do a lot of damage. In fact, they deal almost no damage whatsoever. This is basically a cutscene fight. Inviolate. Ow. Oh, it disappeared. We got zip zapped. Intercession.
いけんだろ逃げるしかねえのか
Run! on! Get your hand out of the way. Oh. Immune. I guess it is kind of big. We're like an angry bug with a toothpick. A sharp toothpick, but a toothpick. You again? You get out of here already? Done with you. Get out of here, nerd. Whisper this, idiot. Interesting.
気をつけてね。
やったか。
みんな。エアリス。
なんだよ今の。
我々が捨てようとしている風景だ。
Oh, if you fail here today, then Red 13 gets to hang with his dad? Doesn't seem that bad.
本体はあちらということか。だが
まずはこいつらだ。
That one absorbs the lightning, right? So we're gonna burn it.
俺の見せ場だ。そっちはどうだ。おっと。
隙をつく。
Oh, the zappy zaps. Luckily, these things do like no damage. Okay, never mind. That actually did some damage. Here, we'll just cast regen and heal more than they can handle. You dodged, idiot! What? Stop it! Stop teleporting things! Ah, knocked you out of it, idiot. Ow. Oh, shoot. Oh, that double hit. All right, we're good. Again, these things deal like no damage, probably because they hit you so easily. Reformation. Ah! Not fair. You can't call your big brother to attack us. Hit him. Vicarious wounds, they are called.
いけんだろう。
果てまで食らいつけ。
俺の見せ場だ。このままへばってな。
Fuck him up. Maximum furry. The power of going maximum furry is too much, chat. The enemy can't handle it. Hey, it's Meteor.
これが星の未来。未来は白紙だよ。
And they're back.
このままだとキリがねえぞ。
二手に分かれよう。本体と同時に叩く。
んじゃ俺はデカブツだな。はっ。
お前の相手は俺だ。
Hey now, Cloud does not say bitch.
やってやる。
頑張れ。見せなきゃ。
Alright. Take care of the Crimson Fucker first, because he's annoying. Music is good. What are they doing? Oh. They're a dragon. Cloud, I need you to go ahead and identify. Oh, it's Bahamut. Oh, that's... Bahamut, as formed by the coalescence of three whispers, Rubrum, Vindi, and Croceo. Cannot read. He's illiterate, chat. Okay, this enemy's hard to hit for her. Mega Flare? No thank you. You can stop that. You can stop that. Okay, that didn't do as much as I thought it would. I thought I saw like 16,000 for a second. Thank God I didn't. Oh. Eva, we need a pickup. If you would please. I even guarded that with Eris. But guarding did not do anything. They chain into each other. That's just rough, man. Alright, asshole, let's go. Get ascended upon. Yeah! Now Tifa does all the damage. Easy victory. You want to summon things? We can summon things too. You want to summon Bahamut? I'll bring out Leviathan. Give him the briny bellow. Big damage. Big damage. Alright, Tifa's busy. We'll have the big damage from Crowdo and Eris. Do it, Barret! Yeah! Nice. It's very interesting what they're doing here. It's really easy for them to absolutely ruin this. So I hope they don't. Oh, the scene. Well, Leviathan's gonna take this thing down. Oh, Leviathan is so cool! Oh, Stardust Ray at the same time, too! The scene. Hey, you know what might help for hitting that? Some magic. But more importantly, Tifa. Oh, I was gonna have Tifa limit break it at the same time. Well, whatever works.
Koko? 早く来い、クラウド。
なんだよ。
これは。
There's Meteor. Oh boy. Now that's just unfair. Also, that's pre-rendered because we have the Buster Sword out. What, really? Also, that was a pathetic Firaga, Sephiroth. I think I see what needs to happen. No? This is... not sure how to feel about this. Yes, the music is at least cool. The onslaught cannot be countered. Only the furry can be countered. I really wish the side dodge or backdash were at all useful whatsoever for anything. This would feel a lot more doable if they were. Okay, like I said, I wish they were any bit useful at all. Perfect. Counter stance. Get wrecked, idiot. Okay. Too late. Oh. command grab. Get wrecked, moron! I should probably assess the situation, shall we? Sephiroth, unable to read. Fair. Bum, 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 bum.
集中していく。
命乞いの時間だ。私が怖いか。
You counter hit, moron.
見物だな。
You're stupid in every possible way. Bring it. That tracks for way too far. Can't counter it. Or dodge it, I should say. You don't need to read on the battlefield. Okay, I'll heal too. I'll heal while you fire it. My heal was better.
終わりだ。集中していく。
泣き叫ばない。
Oh.
命乞いの時間だ。
Oh, get staggered, idiot! Hey, guess what? Limit break!
全てをかける。
Yeah, that's cool. Hey, Ears. Thanks for the help.
強いぞ。
でも行こう。
あがいてみせる。
頑張るね。交代。
Oh, he instant teleports behind Eris. That's poignant. Oh, he's not done. Oh no. Alright, the music's really good. Like, if there's one thing that's killing it right now, it is the music doing fantastic. Oh! Team combo! Get counterstanced, idiot. And again. And guess what? Again! The counterstance just don't stop coming. Ow. Okay. Oh boy, that hurt. Fuck him up!
今がチャンスだ。
このまま決めよう。おい、そっちは大丈夫？
Oh, it cast the spell but didn't cast the spell. Darn it. That's cheating. Oh, hey, Barrett.
待たせた。
What's up, dude?
行くぞ。
Oh, he's got the wing out now.
飛んでけ。
Lightning infusion. Number 3. The music's really going in hard now. Oh. He's weak to air now, though, because he's lightning.
交代。もうすぐ
作戦を変える。
頼られちゃうな。
はいはい。みんなのために
来いや。
協力してこう。
All sweet.
そっちは任せる。
Barrett, maximum furry. Get so furry in his face.
運んで。私の思い。
Get healed, idiots.
ここから狙える？届け。
覚悟はいい。
I don't know why everyone's an idiot, but they are. It's weird. But it's just how I roll. Fire time, huh? That's fine. Okay, it's slightly less fine. No, Leviathan, you have no place in this fight. This fight is for Cloud and Sephiroth and friends.
隙をつく。かき回してやる。
Bring it. Octo Slash? Okay, I have an idea of what that's going to be, and that's not good. Yeah, that wasn't good. Ow. Get zapped. Oh, 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 oh. He shoots tornadoes now. Those are annoying. Those are really annoying. Those are the most annoying ever. Oh, good view. Wonderful view. You did. That wasn't even on purpose. That was just magic. Prepare to get ascended on. Currently weak to nothing. Counter stance. Ice, huh? Oh, nice.
こっちはどうだ。俺の見せ場だ。
Give him the blade burst. Never mind. That's somewhat of an issue. Not sure how we deal with that one. Oh god. That didn't do much damage, but it did knock her around. Ow. Thank you, Barrett, for eating a lot of that damage that Parasort was taking. Lifesaver is a lifesaver. Eats. Oh god, no, he's counting down. No counting down. None of that. No. None of that. None of that. Get fireballed, idiot. Yo, Tifa! You were late to the party, unfortunate. Congrats, you killed Fakeroth.
気をつけろ。そこから先はまだ存在していない。我々の星はあれの一部になるらしい。俺は消えたくない。お前を消したくはない。
ここは
世界の先端だ。お前の力が必要だ、クラウド。共に運命に抗ってみないか。
断る。
Cloud's not that fast. Come on. Oh no, he parried the stinger.
軽いな。終末の7秒前。だがまだ間に合う。未来はお前次第だ、クラウド。
はあ。
副社長。
社長。
わかった。
Calm down with the evil laugh, Hojo. Come on.
Cloud クラウド見た。
By the way, if you're wondering, right now my face is just a hard thinking, puzzled face. I'm trying to figure out where this might be leading. I have some ideas. Oh, really?
待ってろな。
どっちへ行けばいいんだろう。
セフィロス、あいつがいる限り俺は。
でも倒しただろ。
追いかけよう。大丈夫。私も行く。
追跡ならば花が必要だろう。
俺も行くぜ。あいつは星を壊すつもりなんだろう。星の敵はアバランチの敵だ。
もう少しだ、クラウド。もう少しだ。
空嫌いだな。
Yeah, Unknown Journey is fucking right. Because this is going in a very different direction. This is certainly... I don't know if I would call this a remake so much as I would call this... almost more like a sequel than a remake. A reimagining, maybe. But at the same time... at the end there... Hold on. I'm going to turn the webcam so you can see me being a flailing idiot right now. Right? Anyway. There I am. Hi, guys. Got down some. There you go. Hi, guys. So this isn't a reimagining straight up. It's also not a straight one-to-one remake, obviously. Super obviously, right? So, what I got out of that ending sequence is another thing that I've been, like, scratching my head at here and there, right? And that is that this is some sort of, like, it feels like it's some sort of alternate universe. Like running parallel or something similar to the events of the original game, because all those flashbacks we saw, or I guess they're flash forwards, right? That we saw while we were fighting the big final boss thing are all stuff that happens in the original game. Sephiroth seems to know literally everything that's happening. I have no clue what 7 seconds means. But I feel like this is leading up to... At this point, I'm just going to spoil original Final Fantasy VII because this shit's going very different, so... This is... I believe leading up to preventing Aeris from dying. As that is the most impactful thing that happens in the original game, and has to be the #1 change for things to actually be different. Because if you don't know what happens in original Final Fantasy VII, Sephiroth kills Aeris because Aeris is searching for a way to gain enough power to stop Meteor from impacting onto the planet. Little does he know, she becomes more powerful than he can possibly imagine. And by merging with the life stream, she is able to guide the power of the life stream, harness it, and cast an incredibly powerful Holy to stop Meteor. Which means, as far as I can tell, this Sephiroth might be trying to prevent Aeris from dying. Or at least the game seems to be heading in that direction, because everything is pointing towards that having to be the big change. So what other odd things, like there's a couple of odd things about Aeris herself. The ghosts all, the Destiny ghosts that show up to prevent Destiny from changing, right? That constantly happens around Aeris. Over and over and over again. So is this Aeris the Aeris from the original game? Or does she know things from the original game because she seems to not be entirely surprised by this stuff? And on top of that, Red 13 wasn't surprised and knew what it was when everyone asked, "What is this?" And he says, "A glimpse of the future that may be." This is really, really different. Like, super, mega different. Yeah, that's the thing. I think Red 13 might have gotten that future information when Aeris touched him. And a similar thing happened when Aeris touched Marlene, where we had that exact same effect that happened when, I guess, Lifestream particles gave them the future vision passing through them. Which means Aeris is the centerpiece of this thing. She's gotta be. Now the thing here is, what this does is it, one, makes me very interested in what's going to happen with the sequel. Because it's not a one-to-one remake, so I'm very interested in where we're going to go with this, because there's going to be big differences in the future games. But alternatively, what it also does is it kind of makes me a little upset that we're not getting a one-to-one remake of the sequel. Because, or of the original. Because, I mean, that's what everyone's been hoping for. It's what I've been hoping for. Final Fantasy VII is a fantastic game. It may not be my favorite Final Fantasy, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend it's not a great game. And not something I was very excited to finally play a high budget remake of. it really depends on how they handle this. So, it's a very interesting idea, like a really, really interesting idea. And that is because the big thing about original Final Fantasy VII, one of the biggest plot points, is the mystery of Sephiroth, the mystery of who Cloud is, and what's going on, how things are happening. And because it's been so long, and because Final Fantasy VII is one of the most spoiled games out there over time, a very popular website for a long time was erisdies.com. Because of that, what they've done with this is they've reintroduced mystery to the game. There's a big mystery going on now because nobody has any fucking clue where this is going to go. There's some hints there that I think I'm on the right track. I think where this is going is trying to prevent Eris from dying, because that would give Sephiroth an actual edge and probably the ability to win. But, oh man. It makes me really excited for what's going to happen, but it also makes me very, very worried and very trepid because it would be so easy to mess this up. It would be so very easy to mess this up, guys. This is the kind of subversion and difference going along that is going to, it's going to make or break everything. Because while everything leading up to that was really good, there were a couple differences here and there, and I was wishy-washy on the revelations of future things coming so soon. The fact that they dumped basically the entire plot of the OG game at the end of it on you, or close to it, means that that was the reason for all of that buildup, and now it perfectly makes sense. I really hope they do this well. So I'm currently thinking of all the areas the plot ghosts show up, and boy, do those Destiny ghosts show up all around Eris. Like crazy. Like actual crazy. Almost every single scene that they show up, Eris is there. In fact, if it's not every scene, it's at least 90% of scenes in which those Destiny ghosts show up. Eris is a poignant character there. I have to wonder about a couple of the times that they show up, though. Look, it's the Canon Eris dress. Wait, I got the Canon Cloud dress, too? Nice. The only one that wasn't canon for me was Tifa, but I chose the better choice. It's true, they did show up in Sector 7 and attack Jesse, huh? Don't know why we had to have the ghosts instead of making them just different from the start. I feel like they're going to be a major plot element as things move forward. I feel that we're probably not done with those things. Man. I don't know. I just don't know at this point. The next game is going to make or break the whole series, I think. Because if it feels like it's not good, because it's going to be very different, but if it feels like it's not good, people are going to be pissed. People are probably already pissed. But more people are going to be pissed. It's a very ballsy move. It is... It is probably the riskiest move that Square Enix could have possibly made. Oh no, they definitely didn't give a fuck about newcomers. If you're a newcomer and you've never played Final Fantasy VII before, like I was avoiding spoilers of the original Final Fantasy VII earlier on in the remake, just pointing out differences here and there. But at the end there, that straight up throws all of that out the window. Absolutely throws any of that importance out the window. No longer matters about spoiling anything, because if you don't know the original at this point, you're going to be hyper lost. Which might be a good thing for fans of the series, but is a bad thing for newcomers to the series. Or, I say series, but it's the one game, you know? 2 now, I guess. So where will this go is the question. Final Fantasy VII has enough spin-offs to be a series, kind of. I mean, it's got Dirge of Cerberus and Crisis Core, and it's got the Advent Children movie all on top of it. See, you can't even call this Final Fantasy VII 2. 1.5, maybe? Because it starts the same, and it goes through the same early story timeline and everything, but with very different beats until the very end, where it changes drastically. It starts off following a similar pattern with a little difference here and there, and a couple of new elements, but the end is a massive swerve. It's like if you were driving somewhere and you're like, oh, I could go down this straight path, but I'm going to take a turn here and there, and we're going to head towards the same direction, and then right as you're about to reach the end, you suddenly swerve to a hard 90-degree right, and you're like, all right, bitches, it's time to drive into the ocean. Let's see where we go. Let's see how far we get. We're now in the ocean, with no clue how far this is going to go or where it's going to wind up. Oh, I'm interested. I'm very interested. I'm a little upset. I think that pretty much everyone that likes the game is at least a little bit upset. Because everyone has wanted just a one-to-one remake HD version of the game with high-quality voice acting and visuals and everything like that for like 15 to 20 years. And not getting that is a little disappointing. At least we're going interesting places. So now we are at the point where theories can be abound here and there, and I honestly feel like Eris not dying is the big swerve that it's going to head towards. But that's just what everything is right now, just theories. And this next game is going to be one of the highest anticipated games ever. Well, I understand criticism of it's not like the original. I get it. I can get that 100%. People love Final Fantasy VII. It's the most popular Final Fantasy, straight up. It is the most beloved of the series across the board. And while it's not everyone's favorite, everyone regards it well. So for it not to be a 1-to-1, like I said, that's just disappointing for a lot of people. Cannot take screenshot now. Chapter selection has been unlocked. Chat, we can't screenshot. Hold on, I need to make everything dark now. Let me turn it off. Okay, so chapter selection. Cool. So anyway, cam and voice is off sync. Oh, sorry about that. That's because my cam has no sync differences or anything like that, while my mic does to match up with the visuals of everything. Sorry, but that's fine. Who cares? Here. There, I fixed it for you. You're welcome. Anyway, so now it's just down to coming up with theories, ideas. When I replay this game on hard mode, I'm going to go through it with a fucking fine-tooth comb, specifically regarding when those ghosts show up and why they might show up. Because figuring that out will probably point to where the second game is heading. I noticed a few things here and there, but I wasn't paying attention to exactly what those ghosts were doing early on until they started being called Destiny Ghosts. Then I started paying closer attention to be like, so what are they doing? Why are they doing? So this is like the biggest gamble. These guys got pocket aces and they're all in. They just threw it all in. And it's time to see what they get dealt, or the hand that is dealt, because if the hand that is dealt is good, for a lot of people, this is going to be a massive thing for them. It'll be like Final Fantasy VII 2, as though it got a sequel. So as opposed to a 1-to-1 remake, which everyone was very interested in because the game's really good, imagine if the sequel is just as good. If the story is just as prominent, if the characterization is continues to be fantastic, if all the characters play a vital role and everything like that, because that would be amazing. That would be so good if everything just stayed super high quality. The story was great and they don't miss a beat. But you also have the unfortunate possibility of the opposite happening. Because this could very, very easily go the direction of, trying to think of a good example, DMC Devil May Cry, where it just fucks up the story and the characters, and ruins everything and just leaves a bad taste in your mouth. And sure, the gameplay's fine, but everything else is just falls apart. Now, I know that the scenario writer for this is the original Final Fantasy VII writer. I also am well aware, as I have heard it shouted from the heavens, that the second that I started seeing some differences, I saw it shouted from the heavens, Nomura is working on this as well. If you don't know who he is Kingdom Hearts man, put it simply. So this is one of those situations where I have to wonder how much influence he has on it, if any at all, on the writing, because let's be honest, Kingdom Hearts was very successful. So if he makes some suggestions or was a big part of this, he would have a lot of sway. Kingdom Hearts was very successful. So he probably has a fair bit of sway when it comes to the writing of stuff and whatnot. I personally think that Kingdom Hearts kind of dropped the ball as things came, and it wasn't terrible, but it declined in quality as time went on. And that's where there's trepidation. That's where we step forward and we think, uh-oh, the darkness ahead of us, speaking of darkness, destiny is the new heart or dark or whatever. Because boy, did they say that shit a lot. Anyway, you step forward and look at the darkness and you're scared of what could be there. You can't judge this game on its own. You cannot judge a game called blank remake without comparison to the original. It can't be done. It's impossible. Especially when this game needs you to know about the original to understand the ending of it right now. I can't imagine what someone who has never played Final Fantasy VII Original would be thinking about through that final sequence. For everyone that's played it before, and you start seeing those glimpses of the events of Final Fantasy VII, that's when you start getting big revelations of what's going on and where things are trying to go. Whereas if you've never played it before, that's a bunch of mumbo jumbo that you have no fucking idea what's going on. And if you've never, and I think you can probably get by without knowing Crisis Core. You'll be a little confused about Zack because, let's be honest, in original Final Fantasy VII, Zack and his role and who he was, the translation didn't do a great job with it. Probably because that translation was done in like a week. And so something like that, which the original time that you get any inkling of who Zack is by going into an optional area, an optional village, finding literally Zack's parents, talking to them a bit, and they recognize Cloud and ask him if they knew their son. And then a couple other things happen later. There's a lot of missable stuff that refers to Zack, and he is treated very much as a very side thing that mattered very little until towards the end, where he was given a little bit more prominence, but not much at all. So if you've never played Crisis Core, you might be a little confused about this and that. But if you've never played either, there's a lot going on in that ending that is just whoosh right over your head. People were asking me before, is Final Fantasy VII Remake a good, start to the game. Should I play Remake if I've never played the original? And at first I was saying, yeah, of course, why not? It's just a remake. It's not like it's... There's some differences here and there, but it's not a new, super different game or anything. And then the ending happened. And that's... Now it's not. Just because of that. The final chapter is such a difference. Like 1 through 17 is basically Midgar, and then the final chapter is like, all right, we're playing a new game now. There were plenty of small differences. The little ghosts showing up and doing things, small difference, but things were following the same story beats. Wedge being alive, small difference, but that's fine. Maybe he'll, you know, make inventions for us later or something. Various characters showing up at slightly different times, doing slightly different things. Sephiroth, mind-fucking Cloud a little bit earlier. Slightly different, but okay, I can accept it. But then towards the end, where it's just showing all of the ending stuff and the big revelations, and now I know the reason for all of that is because it's not Final Fantasy VII anymore. It's Final Fantasy VII Hard R Remix or something like that. Because where this is going is different. Super different. See, you say it's a sequel, but it's not even really a sequel. Because it was still Final Fantasy VII until the very end. And it's going to be Final Fantasy VII after that, but it's going to be Final Fantasy VII with a different story that predicates itself on the original Final Fantasy VII story. So yeah, it's FF7 Rebuild. That's very fitting, just like Evangelion. Okay. I'm excited for the next game. Like the chief of my feelings is excitement for the next game. But the very next highest is like, ooh, excited. And then right below that is I'm scared for the next game. Because I could see this going. Like here's an idea of where this might go, right? Eris doesn't get killed by Sephiroth because Sephiroth seems to be playing by different rules this time, and he seems to know. Eris seems to know. And so because Sephiroth is the catalyst for that, and if he doesn't do the kill, Eris doesn't get the kill. So Eris doesn't die. We go through similar events, but with different twists on them. With Eris not dead and available, you now have the best caster in the party for the whole game. Hell yeah. Also, Eris is cool. I like her. But without Eris dead, we can't gain the power of the life stream to cast Ultimate Holy and stop Meteor. Which means Sephiroth's threat goes from possible planet destruction to guaranteed planet destruction. I think it's true. Zack is, well, hinted at being alive now. But if Zack is alive, then that wouldn't make sense for Cloud's memories to be so jumbled early on in the game. Because that's the whole reason why Cloud's memory is so broken and why his mind isn't working right throughout Final Fantasy VII is because Zack's in his noggin saying, hey, bro, what's up? How about we, do things that are good for the planet? Let's do that. I can see this going in a direction where we do all the events, but without Eris dying. Like let's say everything else happens 100% the same, but Eris doesn't die. We eventually get to the point where Sephiroth has huge materia, has the black materia, and is summoning Meteor, and now we have no way to stop that. And I could see that running to a point where everyone loses. We die. But we become the time ghosts to stop Sephiroth from changing the past originally and branching off into a different timeline and fix the timeline. What if that's what we're doing? Instead of the journey to stop Sephiroth, our journey to stop Sephiroth is the journey to repair the timeline. So we're going to start off Journey to Stop Sephiroth. Things are going to change to the point where we can't, and we have to fix everything because we fucked everything up. So we're Steins gating it, which would also be very painful because now we have to aggressively work towards killing Eris, which Eris herself would probably be fine with making the sacrifice, but everyone else would be bummed. Hyper bummed. I don't know about that. The Whispers are dead now. No reason to say that our main characters can't become something like that. There's so many different possibilities for this. There's, well, literally infinite possibilities. It could be just about anything. For all I know, we're going to go in there, and the next game's just going to be a kart racer. You pick Cloud, and he rides the motorcycle. Tifa drives the pickup truck. Barrett, or Sid rides on a rocket. Tifa uses a chocobo. Eris is on some sort of magic carpet or something, because she's magic. I don't know what to make of this. Oh, and Roche is, of course, there, yeah. Roche is like the non-main character best driver, right? Heck, maybe he's the lead villain because he's the best driver. Oh, shit. All right, so the next game's going to be a kart racer. And we have to, at the end, defeat Sephiroth powered by Meteor. He's riding on Meteor. Sephiroth riding Meteor, the hardest kart race. Oh, man. This is like it's a combination of the best possible divergence and the worst possible divergence they could have done. So any other small divergences and changes, like I've said it before, I think Resident Evil 2 Remake is one of the best examples of a fantastic remake where it is very faithful to the original, but it remixes stuff here and there to play on your expectations. So you're like, oh, I expect the first flicker of the game to be here, but instead you find a zombie with its head impaled on a pipe there. And then the first flicker you find is a little bit later. Stuff like that is a very good use of a remake and subverting expectations. But this went entirely different. And it's both the best and worst possible things for two reasons. So, because this isn't going to be a complete just Final Fantasy VII, here's the whole thing all at once game. It's good because it keeps interest from longtime fans who are going to be extremely interested in where this is going. People like myself. I can get past it not being a one-to-one because I really want to know where this is going. And if it's on the same tier as original Final Fantasy VII story, then it's fantastic. 9.5 to 10 out of 10 at any given moment. And I feel like they've got a large portion of this already thought up. And now it's just filling in the story beats, creating the actual game and all that. On the other hand, the part of this that makes it the worst possible idea is the fact that we are now in a situation where anyone who is a hard faithful of the game is now put off by it. Anyone who has never played the game before because either they didn't play it at the time or they were too young, because there's 20-year-olds right now that weren't alive when the game was made, etc. And anyone who is waiting for Final Fantasy VII Remake once they heard it got announced could now be like very weirded out by this, unsure of where this is going, think that the ending is bad just through the fact that it shows a bunch of stuff that they could have no clue what's going on and have no interest in what's going forward. Because now everything that's going to happen going forward is completely and irrevocably intertwined with the original game. Ghosts are hardcore OG fans that don't want changes to the story. Kinda. And here's something about those guys. I don't blame them a tiny bit. Not even the tiniest bit. I 100% understand that feeling of wanting it to be Final Fantasy VII. Again, people who played this back in 1997 have been waiting for like a remake since 2004 or 5. Like Advent Children came out with really, really, really good graphic fidelity to everything. And at that point, everyone that was a fan of Final Fantasy VII, whether they were a huge fan or not, was like, oh my God, I hope they remake the game with graphics like this, because that looks amazing. So this has been building up for damn near 2 decades. Damn near 2 decades. And at this point, if you've been very excited for it, and even more, there were like whisperings of FF7 Remake happening, going about over the years. Like, there were rumors about it in 2010 that were relatively credible. Teaser of FF7 with a Wii arm. Yeah, for PS3. Yep, I remember that. That was a big thing for a lot of people as well. They thought it was being remade. And truth is, it probably was, you know, in the back burner as like a, is it time yet? Maybe. Maybe. And we've been getting dribblings of the remake's gonna happen, the remake's coming, the remake's gonna happen, and then it got hard confirmed a couple years ago. And so everyone that's a big fan for the past couple years has been bouncing up and down in anticipation for Final Fantasy VII Remake. So now that it's finally here, if you're like, I can't wait to do this, I can't wait to do that, I can't wait to see this, I can't wait to see that, because you want to see those moments of the game done in high quality with good voice acting and everything like that. Now that this ending has happened, there's a lot of stuff that probably won't happen. Unless, of course, by the end of it, we do the redo the timeline sequence, where we fix the timeline or something like that. But otherwise, there's a lot of things that won't happen. There's a lot of things I was thinking about while playing through this game that I'm like, I can't wait to see this scene. I can't wait to see that scene. And now it's at the point where I'm thinking about it, and this scene probably doesn't exist anymore. That scene probably won't happen. And that is painful. That is very painful. Like, I was very looking forward, especially since Sakamoto Maya is voicing Eris. I was really excited and thinking about, man, the big scene with Eris. The big scene with Eris. And while I think it'll happen eventually, I think they're going to dodge it in the next game. Yeah, Fort Condor was something I was hoping they would improve upon, because Fort Condor is it was a little bit poorly implemented. To perfectly do Fort Condor, you have to backtrack like fucking crazy at very random feeling intervals. Oh, here's a long stretch with nothing happening, some side quests. All right, here's a little bit of story stuff, and now that you've done that little bit of story stuff, go back to Fort Condor. All right, come back. Now do one scene of story stuff. Now go back to Fort Condor. Now come back. Now do one scene of story stuff, back to Fort Condor. Now back. All right, we're going to do stuff for a while. And then you do that over and over again. It's one of the things I was really they might still have Fort Condor, but I was really looking forward to them hopefully fixing, because Fort Condor is a massive pain in the ass. Well, that's the thing, that guy won it all. I think that we're going to play the game dodging Eris's death, and it's going to then wind up that she needs to die, or else Sephiroth can't be beaten. I think that's the ultimate direction we're going. Certain manuscripts are only available. Certain manuscripts are only available on hard. I'm sorry? What does that mean? Oh, the SP book things. Okay. I thought that meant like some sort of lore pickups or something. Never mind. Never mind. If it's just the skill books, that's fine. Items cannot be used at all. HP, only HP is restored at rest spots. So MP is a huge thing. I see. Items cannot be used at all, huh? Not even outside of battle. That's an interesting restriction. Hard's going to be very interesting. But I can't start hard right now. My brain is still going a million miles a minute on the implications of everything in that last chapter. Barrett will become our dedicated healer at this rate. Need a big, strong, tanky man to keep everyone on their feet. So, man. So, I've said for a long time, FF7 is not my favorite Final Fantasy game. It's like second or third for me. But I hope with all of my heart, with all of my being, that the remake nails it. I really hope they nail this different direction they're going in. Because I very much... I don't want to live in a world where the FF7 remake became a steaming pile. It's best not to get overhyped. This is going to be the most hyped thing for me, period. There is no cautious optimism here. This is pure 100% hype with a large, large helping spoonful of fear. It's hype fear. Fear hype. I am on the fear hype train, and there is no getting off of this train. There ain't no getting off this train once we're on it, as Barrett likes to put it. This isn't just about Final Fantasy VII's legacy or anything like that. This is about Square Enix's legacy as a whole. Because when people think Square Enix, even younger generations, probably think Cloud. Square Enix has done so many different games. But at the end of the day, when Square is brought up, Cloud is the face of that company. If you Google Square Enix, I guarantee you the first game that you will see if you look at images will be Final Fantasy VII. You will see Cloud's fucking face right there. Or, sword, back of head, whatever image it is. But Cloud will be there. And yeah, this is going to have a massive impact on how remakes are viewed. And how remakes are not only viewed by the player base, but viewed by the developers. Because if this works and they do a fantastic job at it, and people are like, "Oh my god, that was amazing," and people are super happy with it, you can expect a lot of companies are going to follow suit. There are going to be more eyes on this next Final Fantasy VII remake game than there were on the first one. And there were tons of eyes on the first one. For years, people, like with the clamor about this, the number one thing that people have been saying is that you can't fuck this up. If anyone fucks this up, it's going to be the biggest shit show ever. Now they've taken such an insane leap, such an incredible leap in a different direction from the original, that not only the people that were fans of JRPGs or Final Fantasy or Square Enix games or story-driven games or anything like that are going to be looking at it. Everyone is going to be staring at this that has anything to do with video games. Every game company is going to be watching this with bated breath on how things go. And players are going to very much determine how this goes as well. Because if an overwhelming positive sentiment comes out, then this style of remake that starts off normal and then takes a fucking 90-degree turn out of nowhere and veers off in a very different direction is going to become more common, possibly even become the norm for a lot of remakes. Which is questionable for a lot of things. But if the opinion is okay, mixed, or bad, then I do believe that remakes in general are going to look at that and go, "Ooh, yeah, never do that again." Reminds you of George Lucas trying to revisit Star Wars. Well, that's the thing. Right now, it's hard to tell. Because this is very interesting. If I were to, talk about Star Wars and George Lucas revisiting it, let's talk about, like, the prequel trilogy. Compare that to this. By the end of the first prequel movie, I was not particularly enthralled in where things were going or how things were going to wind up or anything like that. The first one especially was mostly pretty bad. And so was the second one. Episode 3 was all right, but you had to slog through two shit storms to get to that. This one's good. This Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 1 is good. So it's at the point, and it's interesting. It's very interesting in where things are going. It's it's exciting and upsetting and so it has succeeded in what it wanted to do. This by itself as a standalone is 100% a successful game. Because it has done everything that it set out to do. And it has invoked lots of emotions out of everyone. Whether you hated it, whether you loved it, whether you're excited, whether you're turned off. Everyone is interested in this in some way, shape, or form that was looking forward to playing this. And probably a lot more so than anyone ever would have been if this just stayed the course as a 1-to-1. But now comes the hardest part of this kind of thing. the hardest possible thing to do is to stick the landing on them. This is a great launching point that has opened up a ton of discussion. We've been talking here for what, a fucking hour right now? I'm trying to figure out what's going on and everything like that. It's a fantastic jumping off point. But it's a jumping off point where they're going to try to grab some acrobatic rings and do some spins and flips and stuff while flaming crossbows are pointed in their direction and firing at them constantly. And any minor misstep, minor mismovement here, and they're going to be crucified. They're going to be absolutely destroyed. I just don't know exactly what to feel. New combat simulator in Hojo's lab. Select chapter 17. Bike minigame can now be skipped. Okay. Oh, you need to pick a chapter. Got it. Ooh. This is a very crazy feeling. I haven't felt such strong emotions about something, video game wise, since Nier or Nier Automata. Now the difference here is I'm not crying my eyes out like crazy, as opposed to Nier, but I am sitting here heart pounding thinking about what could possibly happen. And it's the kind of thing that now that I have an idea of where this has taken itself off, I need to know where this is going. It's not even I want to know. I physically need to know. But this is going to be, unfortunately, years before part 2 comes out. It's at least going to be 1 year. At minimum 1 year. And even that would be questionable. Well, see, it's a brilliant idea to get interest in the thing. Playing off of the feelings of nostalgia and then massive twist that leaves on a cliffhanger is always going to bring an insane amount of interest in what's going to happen. If this was the full game, for example, like people would have already been hugely hooked out of that twist. If this was the full game after that twist, we wouldn't be sitting here talking. I'd be streaming for the next 24 or so hours. Easy. I'd be an unstoppable streaming machine after that. We'd be finishing this game. I don't care if I'm up for 5 days straight. That's my feelings on it right now. I'd be sitting here 80 hours later looking like death, like, I gotta finish the game. I need to know what happens. But instead, we're on this. Now it's time to wait until the next game. Well, the build-up and expectations aren't what's going to make or break it. The make or break is the content itself. And the content itself, if it's middling, it's going to be treated like it's awful. If it's pretty good to okay to pretty good, it's going to be treated like it's middling, I guess. And if it's great, it's going to be treated good. It needs to be a perfect implementation, because this is going to be scrutinized mega hard. It needs to be insanely good. It needs to be the guaranteed game of the year when it comes out, with no competition whatsoever to face it. It needs to blow everyone else so far out of the water that they lay claim to the entire ocean. Might as well call them Poseidon. That's how good it has to be. Is that because they're setting high expectations? It's because they are changing Final Fantasy VII. So, no matter whether your expectations are high or low, even people that say they hate this ending, which I'm sure they exist, they're going to play the next game. And everyone is going to scrutinize it hard. Whether you love it, whether you hated it, you're going to go through it with a fine-tooth comb, and you are going to be just 1,000% attention will be paid to everything. For people that are in. If you're in on this, you're in on this. And it's not because they're setting expectations high. Expectations are automatically set high for Final Fantasy VII, because Final Fantasy VII is a 10 out of 10 game on any day. It's not perfect, but it is a 10 out of 10 game. I couldn't rate it any lower. It's not even my favorite Final Fantasy, all things considered. Still 10 out of 10, easily. Which means that this changing that and going in a very different direction and giving you and trying to give you a new experience and a different experience means that they're taking a guaranteed 10 out of 10 and giving you whatever it winds up being. If it's another 10 out of 10, it's going to be the biggest thing that has happened since Final Fantasy VII, we could say. If it doesn't deliver and it's bad, it's going to be the biggest thing that happened since Final Fantasy VII, but in the opposite way. The most negative thing ever. And if it's just okay, it's going to be treated a lot worse than what it actually is. When you look at game rating scales from professional journalists and everything like that, right? A 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10 is a pretty bad game, according to them. Almost awful, even. And, well, I personally think like a 7 out of 10 is a good game, because that's 70%, 7 out of 10, right? Yeah. And if any part of FF7 Remake dips close to a 7 out of 10 and isn't at least a 9 throughout the whole thing, that's like... It's like walking up to a nuclear warhead and just going, fire. What happens when I light this on fire? I wonder. And it probably won't end well. Even if it gets to an 8 to 8.5 out of 10, people are going to treat that like it's a 6 out of 10. Because it's not the guaranteed 10 out of 10 that they were going to get. And because Final Fantasy VII is the single biggest RPG name, JRPG name in history. It's because of what it is. Like, if you took this exact same concept to take a big JRPG, remake it with a big with a big cast and budget and everything like that, right? And then did this big subversion to it. Any other game would get half the attention of what this is going to get, half the scrutiny of what this is going to get. They'll never get 10 out of 10 because people expect too much of it. Not entirely. Not entirely. I hear, I saw Maximilian Dude put a tweet out that he absolutely loved the ending of Final Fantasy VII. And Maximilian Dude is a huge fan of FF7. A very huge fan. I watched his streams of his playthrough of the OG while he was getting excited for the remake. He knows that game a lot. He knows that game like I know that game, which is a lot. I've played FF7 a few times. And he has a very strong inherent knowledge of that game and was 100% like, all right, so now we do this to do this. And he even played it with a few mods to change a few things up for some differences and pointed out every difference that the mod had from the original. So for him to say that he absolutely loved where that is and is super excited for the next game, he didn't spoil anything. I just saw I really loved things and was super excited about the next, and I'm super excited about the next game. I was like, oh, okay, so they definitely nailed that ending theme and might have put some different stuff, but I didn't expect it to be this. I didn't expect it to be that different. Like, I thought, what different things could they do? Maybe Yuffie shows up early and helps the gang out, and because they've been talking about Wu Tai so much, so maybe she comes to make an appearance. Maybe Vincent even shows up early. They could definitely do that. Maybe this, maybe that. But I was expecting it to still follow the same story beats. But now we're completely off the rails. We're no longer on the normal path. We have completely diverted, and our destination is somewhere unknown. The conductor is dead. The path has been changed. The ghost train has been suplexed, and you are on it. Showing if Kate Sith was random, I thought maybe Kate Sith would show up. But that didn't happen either. Most of my stuff about what could be different was maybe different character interactions, which leads to a different ending of them leaving Midgar or something like that. Maybe something goes wrong in Midgar and things become more dire than they were before, etc., etc. Ideas like that. My ideas were not quite as Sephiroth-y as they are here, as things wound up being. It's the ultimate gamble. Like, it's the biggest gamble that you could possibly take. Because if they just stuck it 1-to-1 remake, they are guaranteed to make tons of money. They're guaranteed to make infinite money off of that because it's what everyone wants. It's what everyone has wanted. It's what everyone will buy. People are 100% going to buy Final Fantasy VII Remake as a 1-to-1 high definition, yada yada. With maybe a change here and there. But now that it's come to this, nobody knows. I have to respect the balls on this. I have to. It is the most artistic driven thing that could have happened. to look at it and say, we could make a 1-to-1 remake. But what if we tried to make a different story that runs somewhat parallel, but is on par and super high quality? And you can tell that this is not a decision that was made by a board of directors that are worried about stockholders. This is a decision that was made by the developers. Because a board of directors and stockholders and whatnot would look at you and slowly pull a gun out of their desk and say, I'm sorry, were you turning down free infinite money? You want to what? So I respect this move greatly. This is an insane move. Nobody expected this to happen. I don't even think the devs expected this to happen until it was done. I wouldn't be surprised at all if they were doing this and they're like, wait, did the things we made yesterday actually exist, or am I in some sort of fever dream for the past 6 months? Because changing Final Fantasy VII from the original story and going a completely different direction is the least safe thing you could do. It would be safer to jump off of a cliff without a parachute. You might survive that. You probably have a better chance of surviving that than what they've done. This is possible suicide. No, there couldn't be a secret team behind the thing just for the ending, because there have been so many differences that have been sprinkled in here and there leading up to that ending. To the point where this was 100% planned for the vast majority of it, if not the entirety of it. Because those scenes aren't just shoehorned in. They have lead up to them. They have purpose to them. They have meaning to them and everything. And while I was upset, minorly upset, like, I like the original better for this because the timing is better on it. Now that we've got the ending and things have changed so drastically from that and are going in such a different direction, everything that did that makes 100% perfect sense. To the point where it's all genius. All of the lead up to that is absolute genius. This game on its own, before any remakes and stuff, is a 10 out of 10 storytelling. But I can't state enough how incredibly anxious this makes me. Because there's so many ways to fuck this up, chat. There's so many ways to absolutely ruin this. I can't I can't believe how incredibly stupid of a decision this is, while at the same time how incredibly genius of an implementation of this stupid decision this is. This is the stupidest decision Square Enix has ever made in the entirety of their company. Square Enix could have lit a vault of money on fire, and it would have been a smarter decision than this. Which means that because they did it so damn well, that it's the most genius thing they could have done. FF14 1.0 was the mistake. FF14 1.0 was a smarter decision than this. There is nothing stupider than this. It'd be like Nintendo saying they're never going to make another Super Mario game again. That would just be stupid. Mario is a money printing machine. And everyone loves Mario. Final Fantasy VII, as a remake, would be a money printing machine. And everybody loves Final Fantasy VII. So it's the exact same as Nintendo pulling Mario out back and just putting two between the eyes and saying, all right, bury him. ThorW, new CEO of Nintendo, confirms no more Mario. That's right, no more Mario. It's all about Luigi now. And even better, Waluigi. Year of Waluigi, chat. Literally killed by Bowser. That reminds me of a very old set of Flash animations that used sprites ripped from the Super Mario RPG games, where Mario actually dies and Luigi goes on a big vengeance quest for it. Boy, that's an old one. I was like 13 when I saw that, probably. I remember it because at the very end, Luigi found a one-up mushroom and revives Mario. But it was great because the first episode had a super long, like, funeral scene for Mario. It was great. It was fantastic. Yeah, it was on Newgrounds. It was a long time ago, though. I probably couldn't find it if I wanted to at this point. But I'm getting sidetracked. What we need to talk about is, why couldn't I play as Red 13, goddammit? Now that things have gone the direction they have, I don't know if the next game's going to start us 5 years into the future and Red 13 is dead. I may never get to play as Red 13 now. So, I want to give my final review on this before we end off. This game as a standalone thing, and, well, not particularly standalone, but combined with Final Fantasy VII OG, this is a 10 out of 10 game. Knowing that the next game is not coming out for a couple years before we get a continuation off of that crazy ending, this is just a masterful subversion of expectations and insane increase in interest. I was already going to play every FF7 remake. Now I'm super going to play every FF7 remake. Next time, I'm probably just going to marathon the crap out of the next game. Finish it in like 3 days. As opposed to, you know, sprinkling it in with some good streams here and there. Replay FF7 OG? I pretty much did before this came out. And I even compared the original English to the Japanese because the biggest thing that I was excited for was a better translation. Because the translation is pretty good for most of it, but it has certain stuff and even certain important story stuff in the original that doesn't do it right. That is wrong in various ways. Because, again, if you don't know, the original game was translated over the course of like 8 days. You know how much text is in Final Fantasy VII? More than 8 days worth of translation time text. It's a fucking lot of text. And some poor guy by himself had 8 days to translate it. So I don't necessarily blame him for having some information that wasn't quite right or didn't have the impact it was supposed to. How could he have? There was no time there was no time for quality reassurance. There was just, I gotta bang this translation out. Bam, 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 bam. Am I gonna try English VA for hard mode? No, because literally everyone else is playing with English voice actors. I've heard the English voices for the majority of the story. They're good. They're good. I have no problem whatsoever with any of the English voice actors. I'm used to the Japanese voice actors, and I like the Japanese voice actors. I know a lot of people are going to be turned off by that or not necessarily watch because of it, but a lot of people don't watch me anyway, so fuck it. I'm going to enjoy myself. I'm going to sit here with my little glass of weeb wine and, you know, get my hair did real nice and a foot bath and be like, Japanese voice, delicious. Last dungeon before breaking out of the Shinra building a little too long? Nah. I think that the general pacing and addition of things that they did to give more heft to the areas you were in we're all fine. Because one of the things that original FF7 stumbled about here and there was not being able to show off the scale that the creators obviously wanted to for various areas and various actions that happened and whatnot. It's very clear what they wanted. It's very clear how they wanted you to perceive it. But they weren't able to show it properly. They actually are showing it properly here. And that is that Midgar is supposed to feel big. The various sectors are supposed to feel like there's lots of people there to talk to and stuff to do. The Shinra building is supposed to feel massive, and the lab is supposed to feel like a big, important area. And the original didn't do that greatly because of, well, limitations being a big thing. And their ability to do that here is fine. I have no problem with the length of various things. There's parts here and there where I'm like, man, we've been here a while, but the second I ask that, usually right after that, we get to the very end, and I'm like, oh, I guess they thought the same thing when they got to this point. Man, we've been here a while. Time to move on. I think it's paced pretty well, all things considered. And I just think that they did so many things very right and very well when it comes to this remake. The combat, once you get used to it, feels very good. It feels fluid. The characters all feel unique in their gameplay, and it feels like a good game to play. I personally very much like turn-based combat myself, but I understand that with the increase in capabilities of technology and stuff, turn-based combat isn't going to be what's turned to most of the time. But they found a good, somewhat middle ground with it. The characters are all fantastic. Like, Cloud's the only one that ever has a few moments where I'm like, they might have gone a little bit too hard on the retconning of Cloud's actions. But it was once in a while that it felt like that, where they're like, Cloud was a little too capable or a little too cool here and there. Because Cloud's supposed to be, like, originally, he's kind of a nerd. But they do have him have those nerd moments here and there to balance it out. So he's the only one that I was a little wishy-washy on here and there. Everyone else was absolutely fantastic. Barrett being big, loud guy, but with a heart of gold who wants to protect the planet and, most importantly, keep his daughter safe. Tifa being, you know, kind of the soft, somewhat shy waifu, but that when the chips are down and make an aggressive play or be badass and stuff like that. Eris, who is pushy, but kind of sarcastic and biting with her wit while being very kind and nice. All of them were super well done. Is Tifa shy? Oh yeah, definitely. In the original too. If you go through the motions to make Tifa your #1 affection rating, when you get to the gold saucer and go on a date with her, Tifa straight up is making every possible move that she can to passively aggressively get Cloud to know that she likes him, but can't say the words that she likes him at the end, and even says to herself, kind of whispers under her breath, if this was Eris, she'd be able to say it before the date ends. Because Tifa's too shy to actually do that. But Eris, on the other hand, like, Tifa doesn't even call it a date that they go on when you go on the date. But Eris straight up says, hey, Cloud, come on, we're going on a date, and just takes him for a date and treats it like a date. And it's a date. All that stuff. Oh my god, I just remembered a line that Eris has early on. Or not early on, but before, when she's captured and has the dream sequence and talks to Cloud. I think it kind of confirms that Eris knows this shit is going on, because she straight up says to Cloud, you can't fall in love with me because all of this is just ethereal and none of it will wind up being real. She knows! She knows! I thought originally that was just her recognizing that Cloud is very similar to Zack, but thinking to herself, this isn't Zack, it's a different guy. I don't know if this is necessarily the right thing to do in having mixed feelings, because she still doesn't know Cloud all that well, only knows him at a somewhat superficial level before getting to like him, and I thought that was going to be, you know, the way they were going to play that off, but since the ending is what it is, now I'm thinking that she knows. Even though he's a mercenary before he introduces himself? Yeah, that's another thing that I'm like, well, he looks exactly like Zack. And, you know, carries a sword exactly like Zack does. And considering he isn't, there would be no reason for an official soldier to be here, yada yada, she could connect some dots. But she knows. She knows everything. Somehow. He has to. The only thing that makes sense at this point. So going back to finishing my review of this, I keep going off on tangents. It's very easy to go off on tangents right now. This game's fantastic. And the ending is fantastic. I don't care if you hate it, it's still a fantastic ending. It's a divisive ending. It's insanely divisive, but it is fantastic. And now comes a very difficult wait for the next game. Very, very, very difficult wait for the next game. This is going to be a harder wait than the wait for the first Final Fantasy VII Remake game to come out. It's going to be a much more difficult wait. Because this isn't, oh boy, Final Fantasy VII Remake has finally happened. This is, oh boy, is Final Fantasy VII Remake good or is it abject garbage? Because those are the choices. It's either going to be amazing or it's going to be pure garbage. There is no in between. There's no it was okay, it was good. It's either amazing or it's awful. That's what it's going to feel like for anyone who's in on the game. Oh, it's going to be a much faster wait for the next one than the wait for this one. There's no way it's going to take 15 plus years. Probably going to take 2. That's a long 2 years. It's a very long 2 years. I don't think this becomes a definitive version, even if this is a really good game. Because of the intrinsic ties that this first part has with the original, even if, you know, it retreads that ground later on in the remake, the original is still very, very important to this. So I don't think that there's going to be a definitive version. It's always going to be like, play the first one before the remake. Trust me. It's going to feel like that. And you might want to look up Crisis Core a bit. You know? Just you know. It could help. Don't know how much it's going to help. Don't know how much Zack is going to fit into the story, but it could help. Yeah, I'm 100% sure that this isn't meant to replace the original. It's meant to work hand in hand with it and try to reach the same heights with it. Nah, not a sequel. Not a sequel, because if it was a sequel, it'd be different from the beginning. It's like an alternate timeline version or something like that, where you have to have played the first timeline to then understand this alternate timeline properly. Valid point Simmons made. Go to change the story. Beating a godly thing such as the Harbinger of Fate is too grand. How would bosses be difficult for not even the whole party to beat the next game? Well, that's one of the things about that. Is that kind of entity existing at all and being beaten by you means some weird shit. I think that, again, I really think that those things aren't gone forever. I think they'll make a return. But, I mean, we'll just have to see at this point. Considering both Eris and Sephiroth are acting on future information, doesn't that technically mean this takes place after the original? No. For example, if I were to sit here and like close my eyes for 10 seconds and then know all the events of what's going to happen tomorrow, does that mean that this takes place after tomorrow? No, it just means I know it's going to happen tomorrow. And I might try to change things here and there. And that's what's happening here. For one reason or another, Eris knows what's going to happen tomorrow. Tomorrow being the rest of the events of FF7. Sephiroth, well, I can understand why Sephiroth would know. He's kind of in the live stream right now. If you want to know what's going on with Sephiroth right now, Sephiroth's actual body is currently tied with the live stream. Basically just guzzling on the live stream right now, healing. So Sephiroth could have gained information from the live stream itself, because the live stream itself is supposed to be this omnipotent, infinite power and wisdom. Well, not infinite, but extremely powerful and wise conglomeration of stuff. Whilst Eris knowing it, I could only chalk up to her being an ancient, etc. And maybe getting visions of Sephiroth's, maybe getting visions from her own future self who saw this Sephiroth making these changes to the timeline so she can try to prevent that kind of thing from happening and put everything in the right order. Ooh, so this is just, I can't say anything other than congratulations. I'm very interested. Also, fuck you at the same time. Congratulations, you did a great job. Go fuck yourself. I wonder if this crashes and burns, will they then go, we're sorry about that. We will now work on actual FF7 remake and then do a one-to-one remake of it? Or will they stick by it and be like, well, we failed. Oh, well. No way? You don't know that. Square Enix will make a lot of money from the second game. But, and here's a big 2B sized but here. If reviews get bad and everything goes rough, they'll finish this. And if people hate it, which is possible, there's a very real possibility of going back and actually like doing the actual one-to-one remake. Because that'll just be a guaranteed win. And a guaranteed win is something that everybody likes. Everybody likes a guaranteed win when it benefits them in a big way. Especially if Square Enix is ever in a financial situation, for example. And it's the kind of thing where I believe Square Enix very much wants their fans to really like Final Fantasy VII Remake. To really, really have a good time and to really like feel nostalgic but also get a different feeling. This is very much from a developer and writer and story-driven point of view, something that they hope to give a wonderful experience to their fans. And I think that the people that are head developing this right now, if they got feedback from fans and whatnot, and got to the point where people were just super upset and disappointed and everything, I do think that they would want to actually go back and do the remake in the way that the fans would want it if it was like just a massive failure. It would only happen after everything's done, but I believe they're the kind of people that would actually do that. And this first one would be very easy to do. To refix things into the exact one-to-one. The vast majority of this stuff is the vast majority of this stuff is just basically original Final Fantasy VII. You got to change some things here and there, but not a lot. The next game, who knows? And then the game after, who knows? But this game is in every possible way a success as a standalone thing, and succeeds massively in building hype and anticipation for the next game. I really personally hope that it's no more than a year off the horizon, because there's no sitting here and not anticipating. Like, I feel like right now, even a month or two from now, I'm still going to be sitting here going like, man, FF7 Remake, need that second game. Gotta get it. This is going to be easily the most anticipated game of probably the decade. I can't think of any possible way or any possible game that could come along and anticipate this, outdo this level of anticipation. Nier Automata 2? I don't think so. I love Nier a whole lot, but it doesn't have the build-up. It would be hard for it to have any sort of build-up to like of this level. Because Nier Automata by itself is very much a complete game. And like, I think a sequel would be similar to how Nier Automata is a sequel to Nier, where it is it follows the same storyline, but it's a super different thing in a lot of ways. Right? Like, I struggle to think of what could have the impact of this. Maybe Half-Life 3? Because, you know, that's Half-Life 3, but not much else could even be thought of as a maybe in comparison to this. This was a mega bombshell. This was a nuclear warhead, man. Half-Life 3 doesn't have the global appeal. That's true. That would more be kind of a big thing in the Western scene, whereas FF7 is big West and East. It's absolutely super massive. By the way, just make sure I've got a save here just to be sure. Well, now we wait. We wait and hope. Wait and hope, hope and hope that things are good. I will be doing a hard mode playthrough of this if you guys are interested in that. Where, of course, I'll be paying extra close attention to what goes on in terms of story and whatnot. And, who knows? Maybe I'll learn to speedrun it just to keep my interest in it for a long time. I mean, how long can the speedrun be? 10 hours? 20 hours? 24 hours? Imagine the leaks or fake leaks that might come out. Oh, those are gonna be crazy. They're gonna be the same level as leaks and fake leaks of Smash. Like that's like the biggest thing about Smash Bros is that everyone's super excited about leaks and stuff, and that it's gonna be the same thing with this. They're gonna be batshit crazy. All the different theories and whatnot that are going to come out are going to be batshit crazy because at this point, anything could be right. At this point, if you told, if like months from now, someone's like, oh man, a leak came out. You know what's going to happen in Final Fantasy? There's going to be a crossover from Smash Brothers, and Captain Falcon's going to have a racing track for you to race against, and you can even fight him in the Coliseum. I'll be like, yeah, dude, I believe it. Dude, Sephiroth is going to be a party member. He's going to be on your team for this. Yeah, dude. I believe it. Guess what scene probably won't happen anymore? The flashback scene to Nibelheim where your level 1 Cloud partied with Sephiroth, who's level 50 and annihilating everything with Aga spells. That's probably not going to happen anymore. I was kind of looking forward to how that scene would have played out. I honestly thought that the two stopping points for this game, because I thought it was just going to be a straight remake, would have been End of Midgar about to leave, or Nibelheim flashback. And now that it's just this big mind fuck, we are in a world where anything could be cut and anything could be kept in. Because we're on a very, very, very different ride now. We started on one roller coaster, didn't put our seatbelt on, flew out of it out of the loop-de-loop, and landed in a new roller coaster. And this new roller coaster is scary. And I don't know where it's going, and it looks like the tracks aren't all put together, but hopefully we land on some good tracks at the end. Well, either way, I can't say I'm not interested, can't say I didn't enjoy it. It's a good game. And peak interest has been set to the point where it's been hours that I've talked about this ending. But I think we're going to end off here. Thank you guys for watching today. I hope you enjoyed. We'll be playing some FF7 Remake on hard mode in the near future, so come join for that. We'll get a better chance to look at some of the cutscenes and some of the specific dialogue, and we'll be the Leonardo meme. We'll be like, oh, that one, that's it. So anyway, have a good night, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it as well, and I will see you next time. And if you're new here or wherever and enjoyed the talk and the whatnot and my constant rambling, feel free to leave a follow. I appreciate it. I'll see you next time, everyone. Good night.